Hello, this is Solomon Davis from Right Side Trading, where you can learn to trade on the right side with confidence. Today is January 8th, 2022, and this is my quick trade review. This is what I'm gonna be doing this year. I place many trades through the week, but my best trade. You only want to show your best. Well, I think some weeks I might do a good trade, bad trade. I might show a bad trade, and we have ways of managing bad trades. Because this is all for educational purposes only. Because we all know trading is risky. You probably should check with your financial advisor, check with your significant other, and make sure trading is something that is suitable for you. But this is what I'm gonna do this year. I'm gonna just look at, and because what we realize, still me. I'm in and out of trades. I don't care if I'm trading options, I'm trading futures, I'm trading stock. Well, stock I do hold, but that stuff I won't get into at all that much here at all. These are going to be quick little swing trades that I'm going to be looking at. Because I've gotten to the point where I've got some stock positions that I've held for probably over 6 months. I got some that I've held a few years. And some of those things, they do really good. I'm doing like the crypto guys. I'm buying and holding, expecting it to go to the moon. No, I really don't expect mine to go to the moon. What I do, I actually sell calls on them. If I get called away, I actually sell puts on it. Just positions in companies that I like, and I don't mind trading, and I don't mind being in those companies as long as they still look like they're healthy stocks, what we call healthy stocks here at Right Side Trading. But that's enough of that. Let's get into what I'm going to be doing this year. Is the trade of the week, and I'll be posting that out here. I'm still doing my trade reviews, but I keep those to myself because that's what I always said. They were for me, so I started thinking maybe I should just keep these to myself, give people what they will like to see, and maybe get in a little bit more detail of what I'm looking at. So let's jump right over to it. The thing that I traded this week was Wells Fargo. I only was in it for a day, though. I mean, a day I did carry it overnight. But let's see what I was looking at and what brought this to my attention. First of all, let's go. What I like doing. It was brought to my attention by my cousin. I won't give her name, but that's probably enough right there. Those who know who trades in the family, they probably know it was her. And but let's start. And what I do, it was on the 6th. I think this is the 6th right here. This day right here, and all that it was brought to my attention, and all. Even though it had already made this move, and all, I say yes, it's still good, and all. And I'll show you what I'm looking at to say yes, it's still good, and willing to get into that trade, because I know how stocks. I've seen how stocks run, and again, let me show you what I'm looking at when I'm looking at things like this. First of all, I usually like going to a monthly chart. First of all, this is the first month. Again, this was the first week of the month and all. We wouldn't have seen all this and all. We'd have seen this right here. We would have saw maybe a little green. We didn't see all this green here because it's the end of the week. And the other thing that was going on, what brought it to her attention, is that they had earnings coming up on the 14th, which is this coming week. I just don't like carrying things over the weekend, so that's one of the reasons I didn't, that's why I didn't carry it over, because again, a lot of things usually happen over the weekend. I just got in with an option trade and 2 days of theta, and where I actually purchased it at, it wasn't something that I was planning to hold a long time anyway. I was only looking to make maybe 50% on the trade, and I ended up making 100% on the trade. And I'll show you what I was looking at to make me even want to take that trade. First of all, it was the monthly chart. The monthly chart was shaping up like it was giving me a bullish pattern, and also I say, okay, it looks good there. Then I usually go down to my weekly chart, and if you look at the weekly chart, you didn't see this. What you saw was this right here. Even though this is a red candle on the previous week, this candle that when we looked at it was already turning green, and this thing was already up here around, I think it was up here around 53 or 50, something like that. It was already up here near this top. It might have been above this top. It was definitely close to this top here. And I was saying, okay, let me go. And what's so funny about that, one of the guys that I trade with, and on the weekly chart, you did already see the stochastic was already kind of like turning over the day that I was looking at it. So I was kind of okay with that too. So I had the monthly chart looking good. I had the weekly chart looking good for me to take a short-term trade going into earnings. The other thing going into earnings, volatility usually comes into your trades. So if you're buying a put or buying a call, that trade, that option will increase more if it's going in your direction. If you was expecting it to go up and it went up, price of that option will actually increase and go into your favor. Plus, you got volatility coming in that trade. If you had bought a put expecting it to go back down now, your option, and if price did go up, your option price would probably go down, but not as fast because volatility part of that option price would be going up. That's why options, you really need to understand them before you trade them, because there's a lot of things going on and things may not look the way you kind of expect it to look. And this is why, because there's a lot of moving parts to options. Get with us here at Right Side Trading, or get with me, and I help you work through the whole option things. Or get on your broker's websites and stuff and read and try to understand some of the stuff that's going on there. But again, a lot of times you need people to help you, and I'm here to help if needed. But back to it. On the weekly chart, this thing looked, earlier in the week, it looked good. So I was okay with this thing here going into that trade. Now let's go ahead and look down to the daily chart. Let's go to the daily chart. And I would like to, I'm going to try to zoom in like this. Let's go back to this point. Let's go all the way back here. And I still want to make sure, and I want to, no, that's too far. I want to put a high up. You won't even see that. You can say that it has a high. These are the recent highs right here at 55. Just remember that number. And I'm looking at these highs right here in this area. So again, that's my first target is if it wasn't above this, to break that. If it's not above this, to break that. And it was in an uptrend. This is the thing. This is the daily chart. I know this looks kind of crazy and a lot of mess there, but basically, that's why I'm saying most people like to try to look too close at this stuff. All you need is it going up or is it going down? That's all. That's all. Because if it goes up, you make money. If it goes down, you usually lose money unless you're buying a put. You make money and all. So now I want to zoom in here a little bit more, and I want to get around the date and the time that I was actually looking at this. I'm going to slide this forward now because we're too far back and all. Let's just slide it, slide it, slide it, slide it, slide it. And all, we're still way back. We want to go into this. Wow, we're that far back. And look at this. This is daily. And still too far back. And because we want to try to get to the first of the year, end of the month. There we go. So this was the first candle that I had looked back and I saw on Monday. I wasn't even paying this any attention at all. She maybe was. She had saw this big pop up and we actually gapped up. Let me turn some of this stuff off because I can put all this stuff back. Let me remove. Yes. Because pivots are not that important here at this time, and I want to remove this also. Remove. So yes. Now, all we got on here is a moving average, which that shouldn't cause anybody any headaches or any problems. Because you just want to look at the candles. You just want to look at the pricing action. This thing tends to gap a lot, you can see, but it likes to gap and go. And when it does gap, it gapped here and all, and didn't go anywhere and all. It gapped here and kind of went up. So when I was looking at this, I didn't get into this trade until the 6th. So this was the 3rd. That was that Monday. I think this was, yep. That was a Monday. This was Tuesday. This thing had gapped and gapped again, and I know that's why I said I knew it had already broken this high right here. And then let's go to the next day, and then we had a red day right here on the 5th. This was the day before, you know. So this was I was looking at this when let's go to the next day. It had hit this high and it was coming back down, and then the next day here. It had did this. At what time I actually got into this trade, we'll look at this. But I had got into this trade. I'm usually trading in the morning. So I got into this trade early and all before this had closed. So by the end of the day, I was already up in this trade and all, and I was okay with it. And I was okay with it even when it had did this. I saw this the previous day, and it probably wasn't. It was down here in this area at some time when I got into this trade. We'll take a look at it and a little bit closer, and see exactly where it was. This is the 6th. As you can see down at the bottom is the dates. Down here, the dates will be showing up. So I was into this trade on this day, and that was a Thursday, and then this day on Friday had already doubled my money, and I was out of this trade. That's the way I trade. I do not like carrying these type of trades. It was an option trade over the weekend. We'll take a little bit closer at the option itself, so I can show you what I'm looking at there, and I'll show you the exact trade that I actually did. Let's go down to an hourly chart, though, right quick. I want to go down to an hourly. That's really all you really need. Some people like going, and let me let's go back to the day right quick. I wanted to show you something else here. On the daily, even at this point on the stochastic was already at the high or near the high. But I've seen this thing, and we've seen in the market here lately, even though it's up here at this time, you want to get into these trades when you see this back here happen. When you saw this pattern, this right here, and you got your confirmation. It's really an ideal time that you want to get into these trades and all. But again, one of my friends tell me, Solomon, you always get into these trades way up here. I say, yes, I do, but I see things that on bigger pictures that if I want to buy, a lot of times I'm buying the stock. I know I can buy the stock and hold on to it a little bit longer, and I can sell my call if I want to sell my call like I usually do and all. But in this case, I would want to buy a call. So buying a call, you know, I had to have a plan where, okay, I'm expecting to go higher because, number one, what I'm looking at, I got earnings coming up next week. I know volatility is going to be coming into this trade, and my plan is to get out of this trade at the latest on the 13th, because earnings, as you can see here, was on the 14th before the market. So I don't want to carry this over earnings. I want to carry it right up to earnings. That way I get the most bang for my money. In my opinion, for me, most bang for my money. I don't know what you would do with your money, but for my money, I think I would get the most bang just carrying it up to earnings, especially when I'm trading an option, because I know once that event is over, that volatility in that trade is going to come out. I may have made money and it may be good, but I'm going to lose a little bit just because of the volatility drop. So that's why I do it the way I do it. That's what I'm looking at it when I trade these like this. Now let's take a look at an hour and let's take a look at the trade itself. Let me just bring up the other window here, so we can see exactly when I got in and out of this trade. This is my live account. This is the account that I actually traded it in. I got in this trade around 10:30. As you can see, I only brought one contract. These are the type of trades that I'll be doing, that I'll be showing. I'll be doing to show. Number one, I'm not going to be. This trade cost me $77 to actually place, so it's $77 per contract. I only bought one contract here, and as you can see, I sold one contract. I got into this trade at 10:30. We'll round it off. I got out of this trade around 1 o'clock. We'll round it off because, like I said, I usually don't trade that much later in the day anyway, and I'm looking to get ready to go to work around that time. So that's the time frames that we're looking at. And as you can see, I got in at 77 cents. I closed it at $1.80. So I made well over 100. I made over 100% on the trade. So now let's go look at the chart a little bit closer, and we're going to look at the options a little bit closer. Wrong chart. Let's minimize this. Let's go back over here. I like looking at the chart first, because the thing, as you can see, it made the new high. It made a high, and a recent high, I guess high for the year. That's what it's showing you, and that's what I was kind of expecting based on what I was seeing in the chart and the way I know how these things like going. There's a lot of things on this chart that I'm not going into, but those who understand charting will see it. And like I said, I got into this trade right around here in this area, between this area when this thing was doing this right here. I got in, like we said, at 10:30, so I got in somewhere between these two candles here, and then this thing did nothing but take off. And this is what I didn't see. Now you got to think, I didn't see all this at that time. I just expected this thing to run like this based on what I'm seeing, what I had seen on the chart, the way I had seen this thing already go. based on knowing that earnings was coming up. I also did some look back, what I call look back. And I also did some things what I call see the market things. If you get with us here at Right Side Trading, we'll explain all that stuff to you. And the way we seasonally, we also you hear us talk about that a lot here. This thing usually in January drops at earnings. So that was another reason I didn't mind trading it up to earnings because everything else on the chart looked good. But I definitely didn't want to buy the stock, and I didn't want to be carrying it over earnings. I don't really know what's going to happen there, but I kind of expected to get a little short-term pop, and that's what I was trading. That's why I was trading. That's what I was looking to trade this for. I was looking just to maybe get 50% on my money. I really wasn't expecting to get 100% on my money. What I got, as you can see, I got in here, then I got out right around 12 o'clock. If you remember, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, it had already made a high, and it was beginning to make a pullback. So I was out of this trade, and that was it. Now let's take a quick closer look at the options and all, where you can see what the option chain look like. And I'll show you another little trick if I can on this. Let me go trade options. Let's go back here. So you know what I'm looking at. I traded a January 1422 weekly option, 54 strike. So let's go there. So that was this past week. So it wasn't that many, as you can see, it wasn't that many, because again, I knew I wasn't going to be in that trade that long. The other thing, volatility on this right here, I'm looking over here now. Volatility on this one here, I knew was going to be high and going higher because earnings was this week and at the end of the week. So I was looking for volatility to actually help me out on this trade. That's why I traded what I traded. That's what I'm looking at. A lot of times I tell people not to trade these weeklies and all, but there are times you can trade these weeklies, but you got to have a plan. And my plan was to be in and out of this trade. My plan was to make 50% or more on this trade based on what I was seeing on the chart. Now let's go back and take a quick closer look at what I actually traded and where it's at now. And as you can see, it's lower price than what I actually closed out of it at. And as you can see, based on that, we saw my price. This is the high, 86. I got a high of 86. And we go back to my thing. I got out at 81. Okay, I got out close to the high, which is ideal for me. If you have followed me for some time, you notice when I trade the Qs, or when I was trading the Qs, pretty consistently, I'm always getting in. I'm buying in at my low of the day, and I'm getting out near the high of the day. It's not hard to do that once you understand options and you understand how to read the charts and all. And when you see the setup, you have to be patient and all. And you learn to watch the option prices and see how they're trading. But the other thing that I want to show you here, and at the time, let's go back. I know you guys probably don't like going back and forth, but me, I go back and forth on the charts. At the time, this thing was around $52. You can see, because I traded it was $52, $53. When I got into it, we can look at it and see it exact. That's not important. $53 when I got in, around $54, $55 when I got out. Let's go back over here. I know I'm bouncing back and forth, and go back over here. Because what I want to do now, and this is the 54. So this 54, when it was $53, it was like one strike out of the money. At this, and I remember the delta on this thing right here was around a 0.3 something, and then when I was talking to my cousin, I say I don't mind buying that delta at this time. It's based on what I'm seeing on the chart and where I expect it to go. It did go all the way up to 55. We did make that high and all. And I know I would be at least a couple of dollars in the money. So if it did what I expected to do. So that's why I was 50% on my money. I was almost kind of like pretty sure of that. If it start making the move, if it actually made the move, I know it was the potential of actually making 100% on the trade, which I did actually ended up getting. That doesn't happen all the time, but we will see this year if I continue doing these videos and how often that happens. And I'm keeping track of it in one of my spreadsheets, this weekly trade. The other thing that I want to show you here is you can actually look at a chart on here. Now I'm going a little bit extra, toss charts, and I'm going to throw it up here and throw it right here. And I'm going to maximize this. I know you might have to slow down the video and stop it to see it. And I got into this trade at 77 cents, which was right down here around this area here. As you can see, a lot of other people felt the same way and all about buying contracts and all. And I got out of my trade at 81 cents up here close to the top. I just caught this one little pop. That's all. And with options, as you can see, this one little pop doubled your money. Don't get greedy, and I'll always say. But if I was, we was also looking at that chart when that thing was back here at 3 cents, and look at those people who got in back here at 3 cents, 20 cents, 40 cents, and on. Only a few got in here when it actually pulled back, but more got in here when it actually made this pop and all. But this is where you can actually look at the option things and see what's actually happening, and you can see, sometimes it's really, maybe you can look at. I know there's guys out there who like buying options for 10 cents or less, when they see something on the chart, and there was something on the chart at the time, but it just wasn't on my radar. And look at the money that you could have made this week on this option. That's all I really want to share. Options are fun. I will be trading more of these this year and showing more of these trades. We can go down to lower time frames on this. We'll be just looking at the last 2 days here. I got into this thing, like I said, 81 cents, 77 cents. So I got in around 10:30 it was. So let's move this around. So there was periods where I could have got into this cheaper. So right around 10:34, 10:35, this is where I actually got in at 77 cents, somewhere right around here. So as you can see, it did go lower and all. So I'm not timing it perfect and all. And then, like you say, after that, it did just continue going up for the rest of the day. And then the following day, it did go higher. And it did go higher in the morning, 81. Popped back down, came back up, and I got out the next time it hit that high. That's it. That's all I really want to show. This is options and all. And this is Solomon from Right Side Trading, where you can learn to trade on the right side with confidence. I hope this was something that you guys don't mind seeing. If you want more of this, give me a like. And kind of just let me know. I'll put this out here. I know it's kind of long, but I want to go into a little bit more detail of exactly where I'm getting in at, what I'm looking at, kind of explain my whole strategies and my whole expectation for actually putting on this particular trade. And I look to be doing something this time of the year around earnings. It's pretty easy finding stuff. Once earnings is over, it's usually not as easy. It's different ways we look at the market and all, and look at things to actually trade to be able to see if something is setting up to give us those type of moves. But I will be searching for those. I will be spending a little bit more time trying to find those type of trades. Again, this is Solomon from Right Side Trading, where you can learn to trade on the right side with confidence. Talk to you later. Bye.